Hey everyone, Ace of Clay here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another sculpting video. Today, I'm sculpting my version of a realistic ghast from Minecraft. Now in the game, a ghast is a floating hostile mob that just sort of floats around and blows fireballs at you. And after sculpting the realistic creeper last week, I got a bunch of comments asking for me to make a realistic ghast. So here you go, I hope you like it. And then without further ado, check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ace of Clay, and let's get started. Alright, let's make this guy. I've got my aluminum wire here. I'm going to start by creating all of the little tentacles that he's going to have, and then I'm going to wrap them together at the top so we get this nice little broom shape. And then all the materials and tools that you see me use in this video are listed in the description box below, along with my affiliate links if you want to purchase anything. There we go. Now let's go ahead and trim off the ends, and we've got our armature for our gas. And so far so good, that was easy. Now let's go ahead and bulk out the head with some aluminum foil, get this thing looking like some sort of crazy jellyfish. Then add a little bit more foil, make it a little bigger, and then we're going to open up a new package of ultralight. If your ultralight does not come out of the package like this, nice and soft, then your ultralight is old. And that's sad. So anyway, this is a really fresh batch, like check it out, so marshmallowy. Now we're going to go ahead and start adding this to the aluminum foil, and then this is going to give us a nice surface once it's baked to create our final layer of clay. So let's just get that on there and then give him a nice surface and figure out some of the basic shapes in his face so that I can work with them later. Now if you're really paying attention, you can notice that the camera is on my right side, not my left side, and I just want to let you know that it will not be like that next time. It's going to go back to normal. Now I just poked a hole in the head and added some bacon bond to add this big eye pin that I made so that it can be a hanging sculpture. And then once that's baked and cooled down, it's time to add our final layer of clay. I'm using some Super Sculpey Living Doll for this project. I'm just adding that nice even sheet over my surface and blending everything in. Got the nice even sheet by rolling it through my pasta maker on the thickest setting. Then we're just making sure the eyes and the mouth are there, and I'm gonna deepen them with my medium ball stylus. And then once everything's nice and covered, we can start the fun part, which is all of the details. And let's start with the eyes. A little ball of clay there, and then pressing out the eye with this tool that looks like a little butter knife. Don't know the technical name for it, but I just sort of rock it in there, and then I blend the top edge of the eye in with the eye socket, creating the top lid, and then doing the same thing on the bottom. And then we repeat this for the other eye, like so. Now let's go in and get those details on. I just want to mess with everything until it looks how I want. I'm sort of just pulling this out of my head. I don't have a crazy plan. I just know I want it to look like a sort of really sad, creepy old man. You'll see what I mean as we progress. But here I'm just bringing out the cheekbones and the brow bone, making him look very sunken and old, aged, withered, whatever words you want to use to describe this. Now let's work on that mouth, give him a little bit of a bottom lip, blend that in, and then go from there. Now one thing I did keep in mind the entire time while I was making this thing is I wanted it to look very sad, because these things are pretty much always crying. So we're going to add some big puffy bags under his eyes. He's going to have a big frown, and it's just going to be very sad. Poor thing. How about those for some nasolabial creases? Let's get those blended in. Really work on that frown. And then it was at this point where I start making his tiny little nose, where I am satisfied with the direction of this guy. I like how it looks. Let's add some wrinkles on that upper lip. Really, really push that detail. I want this guy to look really creepy. Now speaking of pushing detail, I want to push this guy past the human realm with this next set of details. And these are just going to be just these big lumps sort of clustered in different parts of his head. And then we're just going to blend those in, really give him a nice lumpy surface. then throughout this entire process, you can just see me laying down the big chunks of clay to create the facial structure and larger details, and then I'm going in with various tools to texture them. So we're giving them a lot of creases, a lot of wrinkles. We're using some rubber shapers, my spoon tool, of course, the explorer tool, and we're just going crazy with them. Now it's time for the sponsor.
Hey, now before we get into the rest of the video, let's take a second to talk about our sponsor, NordVPN. NordVPN is a service that encrypts your internet activity and protects your online identity. When you go on the internet and you go to a website, you connect to your internet service provider or ISP, and from there, they connect you to the website you want to visit. When you do this, you're going through your ISP's servers, and they can literally see and track everything you're doing online. They may even give your lovely internet browsing history to third parties like government agencies and advertisers. Now, if the thought of this makes you a little uncomfortable, this is where NordVPN comes in. Everything I just said, like your browsing history being shared with the government, that won't happen with a VPN. You can browse the internet safely and freely. It's easy to use. You can connect in just one click or use auto connect for zero-click protection. It has 5,100 servers in 61 countries. It has amazing speed that has been confirmed by speed tests. NordVPN is the fastest VPN out there. You can use it on up to 6 devices, and of course it's on every major platform. Another thing that makes a VPN great is the ability to access other content that maybe you can't get to in your country. If there's a game or platform that you can't visit because of where you live, just simply change your virtual location. And now NordVPN is more than a VPN because they have what's called threat protection, and this will protect you from malicious websites, intrusive ads, and trackers. It's awesome. So if all of this sounds good to you and you want to take advantage of NordVPN's awesome deal they have going right now, head on over to nordvpn.com/clay. There you can get a 2-year plan with a huge discount plus 1 additional month for free. Thanks again, NordVPN, for sponsoring this video. Now back to our sculpture.
That's right, we're back to our sculpture, back to our tiny ball stylus, tapping a texture into the clay. There we go, like that. And then I just want to deepen some of those creases in the front a little bit, and then round my edges off with my spoon tool, and then we're just gonna go crazy again with this rubber shaper and that skin texture. Just gonna keep going. We're not gonna stop until this thing's done. Now that I'm satisfied with how this thing looks, I'm going to brush the surface with clay softener, get rid of fingerprints, smooth everything out, and then get this guy in the oven. Yep, looks good. Looks even creepier, all slimy looking. Alright, oven time. And once he's baked and completely cooled down, it's time to make those tentacles. So let's just trim the wire to the different lengths that I want. And then I'm going to use GHAST clay for these because GHAST clay stays flexible after it's baked. And we don't want any tentacle things breaking. So just rolled out that snake of clay that tapers at one end, and I'm cutting a slice through the middle but not going all the way through, and I'm wrapping it around the wire. And I'm going to repeat this process with different sized snakes of clay until all that wire is covered and he has a bunch of tentacles and he looks like a really cursed squid. just adding some final texture to the tentacles, positioning them a little bit, and then we're gonna get this guy in the oven for a final bake. And once he's baked and completely cooled down, it's time for paint. All the paints that I'll be using today are Folk Art brand matte acrylics. Folk Art brand acrylics. Now I'm just using a small paintbrush and some black paint to paint the inside of the mouth and the eyes, and then we're going to go in over the entire surface with this nice dark gray color that I used titanium white and black to make. There we go, getting that on the surface with a fairly large brush, making sure not to get on the black areas that I already did. And then from here, we're really just going to be dry brushing this guy until he looks how I want him to. I mean, this is just a gray blocky character, and we're just going to be using shades of gray to color him up. So here we're going in with a lighter gray, dry brushing that on the surface, really catching all those details and enhancing them more. And then we're just going to wait for this to dry. Then we're going to go in with an even lighter gray to highlight certain areas, and then we're finally going to finish him off with some white, but I concentrate the white around the eyes and the nose and the mouth and some on the chin. So I'm not going over the entire thing every single time I'm dry brushing. I really just want to heighten certain areas, and that's what I'm doing. And we're getting him to that nice light gray that we wanted. Very nice. Check it out. I'm just going to dab in a little bit of red apple in the eyes, make them a nice glowing red hue. And then for the next step, to add some more dimension, I'm using some watered down purple and then just getting into those big cracks, all the dark areas. I'm adding a little bit of a purple tinge too. Thought it was a nice touch. And we're just going until we're happy. Too bad this guy's not happy.
And it's done! My realistic GHAST is complete. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. I think it came out pretty cool. I love that I was able to squeeze in so much detail on this thing. I love all the different textures, and he's really creepy and he looks really sad. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ace of Clay, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.